Wedding Film School Live. We are excited to be here with you to review some wedding films, hang out as a community, and more. But first, we want to show you a little video about something pretty cool that we have coming up in February.
What's up, wedding? What's up, wedding filmmakers? I just wanted to invite you to what I promise is going to be the greatest retreat for wedding filmmakers that you've ever been on. We're talking 3 nights and 2 full days with some of the greatest wedding filmmakers in the world, in the greatest city in the world, New York City, in February. We wanted to create a workshop for people who are looking for more than just shooting tips or even marketing tips. We are bringing some of the best wedding filmmakers in the world, not only in terms of their artistic ability, but in terms of what they're doing in the industry. And they are going to be there to help you grow. We wanted to create a space where you could connect with some of the best filmmakers in the world in a deep and meaningful way, where you could actually connect with one-on-one coaching and actually ask some hard questions, and also have a little bit of space to think. And at the end of the day, that's what Clarity is all about. It's about you getting space to think and having incredibly meaningful and important discussions about some topics that maybe are a little bit hard to define. At the end of the day, that's the goal, to create that clarity in your mind about what you need to do.
I attended the Clarity Retreat last year, and it was the single best thing I did for my business.
Attending Clarity was a game changer for me as a wedding filmmaker. It completely transformed how I approach the high-end and luxury market. The retreat elevated my thinking and really helped me see the bigger picture in the industry.
Hey, it's Adam Grumbaugh. I wanted to say that the Clarity Retreat was indeed that. It allows you to gain clarity on what you're doing in the business, as well as meet with other people who have proven to be successful year over year over year.
It was pretty game-changing. You get to learn how to kind of realign your vision and values as a business moving forward. It's less about the technical side of things, how to create successful relationships with planners and photographers.
When I go to these retreats and workshops, you know, what I'm looking for is value, and I think most of you guys are looking for the same thing. I'm happy to say that it did check that box. There was a lot of video and business insight that I can take away from.
The type of people that this attracts are people that are really interested in creating methods and processes to make a super successful business. It's great.
I was going into my 4th wedding season and being surrounded by these insanely talented and experienced wedding videographers who had been in the industry for years.
And it being hosted in a luxury location too was really important, because you got to experience what it's like to receive luxury on the receiving end, but then also how to provide that to your couples.
It's not all just styled shoots or fluff marketing pieces. It's legit ways to learn how to better your business so you can become more profitable and better serve your clients.
I learned so much, and it truly was a reset for the next wedding season.
I came away with a super clear vision for my business, equipped with strategies that I could actually apply. Clarity gave me a new perspective, amazing connections, and actionable insights. I'd highly recommend it to anyone looking to elevate their wedding filmmaking business.
If you're thinking about it, do it. I left with actionable steps that I could implement right away. And hopefully I'll see you there.
If you're looking to go to the next level in your business, if you're looking to scale and grow and get into markets you've never been in, there is no better workshop for you to attend than Clarity 2025. Early bird rates expire on November 10th, so head over there, sign up today, get the best possible price. We can't wait to see you at Clarity 2025. I promise you, it's going to change your business. Sign up today, clarity-retreat.com. We can't wait to see you in New York City.
So that's a little bit about what we have going on. Early February 2025, we are incredibly excited to host another Clarity Retreat. The first one was a great success, as you heard from those testimonials and that video in general. And we're excited to bring people together again. And of course, as always, I am joined today by Jay. And I think Jay, one of the things that we want to make sure we touch on is not just pitching the retreat, but really talking about kind of the why behind it. I feel like you have some more insight on that.
Yeah, and I apologize for the weird lag. I think I'm figuring one thing out about YouTube is whenever you have fast cuts in a video, that's when I always have lag. And it's about that kind of thing. So I'll just cut worse, more boring videos with less cuts, and I won't stream that. I don't really know what to do about that. Regardless, no. At the end of the day, the world doesn't need any more education for artists in a lot of ways, and I think there's a lot of good stuff out there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so our contribution to the space of educators, and really why bother with a retreat is really comes back to my personal beliefs on what helps people actually improve. And that's really about actually rubbing shoulders and having the conversations with people that are going to make a big impact on your business, and I think at the end of the day, that's kind of where our vision for this retreat came out, is okay, what's something different that we can do that's going to be a unique contribution to the space, and kind of building on what other people are doing that's also very good, versus kind of just maybe trying to reinvent the wheel a little bit. Because it's totally. You got to walk that line between doing something familiar that people are used to, but also doing something unique and different. So we're gonna have the speakers, and we're gonna have the stuff that I think people would expect at a retreat, and small groups and little breakout groups, and food and all that. But I think the difference is we do have an emphasis on not just how we're doing it, but I think the way that we're kind of positioning ourselves in the wedding market, of the conversations we're having. You were there last year, obviously, Bobby. Kind of
Yeah.
What was maybe different in terms of how we went about it, in terms of the content that might be a little different for someone looking to kind of level up as a wedding filmmaker, that we were kind of doing in Clarity?
Yeah, I think the things that stuck out to me really were that, first and foremost, it's really more business oriented in a lot of ways. We aren't doing styled shoots. We aren't, you can bring a camera if you want, but you don't need one. And I think that's the first thing that people are going to notice, is really trying to meet people where they're at in their business and help them grow that. And that can be done. I think the takeaways from all the speakers we had and the insight we had was great for everybody, but that one-on-one coaching was just incredible for people as well, because how many people get to sit down with Ray Roman, and just pick his brain and bring hey, here's some issues here's some hurdles that I'm having, and getting walked through that by, a top tier wedding filmmaker like that. So, and then I think we take a different approach too. We had a high-end coordinator there, which was super cool. The insight into what they're looking for, what provides value to them.
Well, also, just to clarify that one, I was actually myself, and another wedding filmmaker, and the planner, who this is someone I work with very closely and very often. And we talked about how we go about kind of planning out our releases and collaborating. And so It's not just a wedding planner getting up there and saying, hey, everybody, here's how to get me to respond to your DMs at Instagram. We were talking about something that you can do and everyone can do. which is like whoever your partner is, you can collaborate more closely and create more value for both of you. And I was like, that's a kind of a unique discussion, a unique perspective. Like, I don't know if I'm considered a luxury high-end filmmaker, but whatever, however you want to perceive me. And she's definitely a luxury wedding planner. So what is that person looking for in a working relationship, and how does it play out, and what are the benefits to both parties? So we actually are going to be posting all the sessions from Clarity 2024 on our website, Clarity-Retreat. So I want you to head over there, check it out. We're going to be posting those tomorrow. So if you want to watch and kind of get a taste of kind of how we like to do things, you head over there to Clarity-Retreat, and you can look at our 2024 program a little bit, and you'll get a bit more of a sense. And I'd love to see you sign up. Room is included and food is included. So if you look at the price, it's around $2,000, $1,700 if you want to share a room. You can do 2 tickets for 1 room for those of you that want to share a bed. We also have 2 queen rooms, although the 2 queen rooms are very limited. So if you are looking to get a friend and go to Clarity, I would highly recommend you get that ticket before they sell out. There's probably less than 5 of those rooms available.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be a great time. We're going to be in New York City this time, which is arguably the best city in the world.
Arguably, that's for sure.
Always love my time in New York City. And yeah, it's going to be, on top of all the education too, just a lot of fun. A lot of, networking isn't even the right word, because it's just like, we're just all wedding filmmakers and we're just hanging out and we're having a good time.
Community building and
yeah.
At the end of the day, like, successful people are the best way for you to become a successful person. Straight up.
Yeah. Surround yourself.
Be around successful people and let it rub off on you and extract every bit of value you can get out of those relationships. And that's what the smart people do. And that's what we think Clarity allows you to do. So we can't wait for it. It's going to be fun. Got some of my favorite people. Larev, I saw Cherish in the chat. We have, Sharon, Ryan from Forge of the North, Julia Kentner Films, who's very good. Myself, Bobby, and I passed over someone. Did I? Yeah.
I was reading our first submission.
Lindsay Landman is a great wedding planner, very amazing high-end luxury wedding planner out of New York City, and she's going to be joining us as well. So it's going to be great, guys. So I hope you join us. So who do we got first? Who's our first submission?
First, we have C1 Media LLC. And this is, I don't preview these, so who knows what this will look like, but the the pitch or whatever it is very interesting. So it's from Andre, and Andre says the film is part short film, part wedding film, a 3-act story. We shot 3 different days over the course of 3 months.
I say we watch this whole film.
Yeah, unless it's like
if it's
crazy long.
No, it's 6 minutes.
No, yeah, we can do it. Yeah, I who knows what we'll see, and maybe we'll decide to stop watching at some point. But
if it's very, very great and so great that we don't even need to say anything about it, then
we have nothing to say. But yeah, I don't know. Great, cool idea. Definitely unique would be my guess. So let's dive in.
All right. Okay, I haven't seen this, so I'm going to give a pre-criticism that isn't a criticism, more of a
thought.
If you think this, maybe you're wrong. So what I'm interested here is this actually unique? Because I find a lot of wedding filmmakers do things that are actually just standard, and then they think they're unique. And I don't think that's bad that you're doing something standard. But I do think if you think you're doing something unique, but you're really doing something standard, then you're kind of, you think you're offering a unique value that's really not a unique value. So I will be looking for, is this super unique? And if it is, great. And if it isn't, that's okay too. But I just would tell them, like, hey,
just got to have the right mindset on it.
100%. So let's check it out.
And then we dated for 4 months, and then we were like, I guess I'll keep dating. I guess I keep you. Yeah.
down.
Well, you hit the game-winning shot, so are you paying?
I think we should get him.
I hate horror, so like I was like, I'm not enjoying this movie. I'm so afraid. Like, and then like I'm like because like I'm afraid, but I'm like, but also
And he's just like, keep coming.
I'm like,
I can't watch that. I gotta skip it.
Yeah, we're skipping through. Oh, so this whole thing is set up.
Okay, let's go back. It's mainly like the bad audio,
the banter, and
can't even
nobody
hear
mic'd up. Yeah. You think this is actually what happened?
They did the.
I wonder if we'll see any.
Why do they light this so good and everything else not at all?
Yeah, what? Yeah, this is crazy. This is very interesting to me.
I can see their weird, that corrupt problem from Film Convert, that little line. There it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Joe.
I will give him a credit. That is unique.
It's true.
This ceremony presents us with the wonderful opportunity to celebrate the love shared between these two souls. The love that Alex and Joe have shown and demonstrated over the past 6 years tells me that they are committed to one another's life, and therefore let their love be
a lot of like little micro motions and like micro jitters.
Yeah, little, yeah.
Non-committed, like, oh shoot, I gotta tweak my.
Oh wait, no, we're going right. Yeah.
Gotta tweak my tilt on the gimbal, as you know. Yeah, gotta smooth all that out.
model to others.
While the process of planning has been stressful, I'm so excited for this day. The decision to marry you was very easy. You are everything I want in a partner, a co-parent, a life.
Why? I wonder why they have those two. What's going on with this? Is this totally out of focus, or like, because they have this shot right here, so there's a camera like directly next to this camera.
Yeah, it looks like it's just to the left of it.
And there, but
and lower probably.
But it's in focus. It's back focused.
Yeah, it's the back focus. Yeah.
Me, you're my best.
This is not a rip on this person, because honestly, there's some good things in here, and I you know, like, we'll talk about it. But just the thing I see a lot with stuff like this is, like, if you're not nailing the things like we're discussing, maybe don't try a super high concept idea.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Fred.
Oh my god!
I do like what I like. That takes balls. I like that. Like I like what they were trying to do.
Although we may not be perfect, into our surprise, we'll be perfect.
Playing some
I am so
N64.
thankful to spend the rest of our lives together and cannot wait for everything. The good and the challenges. You are the most perfect person.
Okay, so
Go on all of
when we review this one, let's do it a little differently. Let's
What are
tell
we gonna
this
do?
person what this filmmaker would have to do to take an idea like this and make it successful. Because I don't want to say it's terrible. First and foremost, I think the couple is gonna love this,
It's not
well,
terrible.
The couple was
Ooh.
totally. Oh. Pause.
What? That was a
take
real
that
trashy shot.
The couple obviously is very invested in whether this was your idea or their idea or whatever.
I love that. I love
agree
that.
I agree they're gonna love this.
And I just
Are we
like
back?
that
These are the same shots.
I like that they did it, but there's just a like, what is going on with that?
I have an interesting conversation to have when we
Manually focused or something like anyway.
All right, I feel like we can dive into.
They're about to do a new. Oh no.
Oh okay.
This is just like a traditional. So, why don't you start, Bobby? What do you think? Like, what about this was successful, and what about it wasn't successful?
I think I guess some of the concept I think can be successful. It is. We were talking in the beginning. We were saying, well, is this even going to actually be unique? Like everybody says, oh, well, I do this really unique, and it's like, well, like, not really, and that's fine. But like, this is actually a pretty unique concept. You scripted out this first minute or whatever. This is very planned out. I assume this is, well, I don't know. Maybe this isn't how they actually met, but they wanted to do like a little cute meet thing, whatever, in the beginning. Like,
meet cute.
Meet cute. Like, whatever. I don't know. All that to say, the concept, like blending it with their actual wedding day, like there are aspects of this that can work if they're executed the right way. And then, ironically, right after this, and then we see a bunch of these scenes of their life, and then we go into the wedding day, right? And so all your best shots are in that first 20 seconds of the wedding day, which is, I'm kind of like baffled by that in some ways, but we'll maybe talk about that on the flip side.
I'll show you what I'm baffled by.
Did you want me to talk about what? Yeah. Did you want me to talk about what to?
So
what
why would you say to this
do?
filmmaker that would make this idea successful?
Okay. One, treat your, like, why are these shots so nice and well executed? The edit there is rough, but whatever. Like, well thought out. Why can't you do this in more places of your film? I don't really understand that. So I think executing your shots better, and it's at a high level like that, but it's also at a very like low level of, like we talked about, there's a lot of very indecisive shooting, a lot of poor focus. And like, to me, it almost feels like you brought in the A team for those shots in the beginning of the wedding day as we transition away from the meet cute. And then you just like let your third shooters do the rest of stuff throughout the day or something. It's like a vast difference to me, which is kind of confusing. And then also, if you're going to use audio to drive your story, whether that's on the wedding day or their, little discussions while they're eating appetizers, or the guys heading out to play basketball, like, you need an audio solution. That audio is not usable, and it detracts so much from your film.
Yeah, this is what I'll say. If you're going to try to do something cinematic where you're going to actually take people out of documentary style filmmaking, event coverage, you got to nail it.
If it's a short film, it's got to be a short film. And if it's a short film, you should have somebody running audio. You should have
the elements of a film are good audio. That's the whole thing about a film, is like, you're in the world. You're not observing the world. And so it's like, you have to make it feel like you'd have to fully commit in terms of the production if you're gonna push an idea like that. And I felt like they had a good idea. I don't know if that's a good idea. We can talk about that at the end. Is this a good or a bad idea?
It's a unique idea.
But maybe the couple really wanted it. Maybe they wanted to try. Like, I never will criticize someone for just trying something interesting and seeing how it works. And so I give them a lot of credit for that. But I think they didn't go hard enough then. If you're going to do that, you got to go hard. And like, there's a lack of attention to detail throughout this entire film. Like, even this frame right here.
I think some of that shooting falls into that too.
Yes,
like
it does.
The
all of it.
misfocuses, the little jitters because you're changing the direction you actually want to go. And then, yeah, the framing on stuff. Like we both gasped at the shot with the dumpsters behind the bridesmaids. This is the same thing. The DJ's table's right there. Like, there's got to be better. Did you have that marked? That was very quick. You
when I see a shot like that, I remember where it is in the film.
You click right to that. It's just like, and even where are they going? That's like a shed with like
Ace Hardware thing right there.
Yeah. And so it's just like, yeah, a lack of attention to detail in a lot of
ways.
Well,
and also like you might say, oh, we want it to be raw and authentic. Right, if you say that,
there's a right way to do that.
But I would also disagree. But regardless, maybe that's the theory. Like, we're gonna show everything raw and authentic. We're gonna make it raw and authentic. If you're gonna do that, then why are you doing a scripted, acted out intro?
Yeah,
they're competing with each other. Either you have to like go all the way with your idea, or maybe. So I would say like light it properly. Do like actually have a person who's running sound, and have a grip person. Do it like, don't just like walk down the street with your, like, really kill it. Do it all the way. Like, if you're going to do it all the way. And I think like, it's hard for me to really judge it because the execution wasn't great. Like I felt like almost all day you had a gimbal or one of your cameras. Like, I don't know why you kept missing focus.
Yeah, that's an odd one to me. I don't think they said what they were shooting on.
Like right here, like
I don't know how you do that.
It's back focused like all day.
Yeah.
And there's piles of trash right there that are also in the shot. So here's my theory on this. This is an inexperienced filmmaker with a lot of big ideas. And I think that's great. So I'll tell them this. Keep having big ideas. Keep pushing the envelope. That's great.
Yep.
Keep doing it. But like these little small mistakes will kill you in terms of like if you keep trying to go higher and harder. The other thing I'll say is, this is just my personal perspective. Like, if you're going to have actors, like, that's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
Of your couples. Like, and maybe they love it and everyone loves it. And, maybe I'm just being overly critical.
Maybe it's their idea.
Yeah, 100%. But, I definitely, like, it's very risky. Like, I don't know if this is like a marketable idea, which I'm not saying is something that.
Well, yeah, I think that leads me to an interesting question that I have. And before I get to it, I just want to say, on the plus side again, some of those shots as we transition into the wedding day were really solid.
Yeah, there's like at least one really great shooter involved
from your couple, and that's interesting.
Yep.
Like, not everybody can do that. So again, we don't know if this was their idea or the couple's idea, and I think that framework might be a little bit important. But I will say that this kind of begs this question that I've thought about before, which is, okay, let's say this is your idea. Do you do you need to like wait on something like this until you have the basics down, which I don't think this filmmaker does, at least for a wedding.
Or at least maybe their team doesn't have the basics. Maybe like
maybe that might be what it is.
Maybe they individually do, but they don't have enough people to support the idea. Like,
and then kind of the flip side of that, and this is kind of more where this question lives, is like, sometimes I have couples come to me with an idea, right? I've never had this idea, but I've had like framework, like I really thought that we could incorporate this idea into my wedding film or whatever. And I'm sure everybody has that stuff. Now, if I like the idea, maybe I'll do it. If I don't like the idea, I'll say, I don't know, whatever. But where does like your knowing yourself and knowing your skill level play into that? Like, I don't think any filmmaker, if a couple's like, let's say this was the couple's idea, says, hey, we really want to do this like short film, like this 1 minute intro, and then we want to go through like all the scenes of our lives together until the wedding day. And so my question is there a responsibility of the filmmaker to say, I don't think I can execute that well, I think you should hire somebody else?
Or you can't afford your idea.
or I can execute it well, but that's like.
But yeah. So I know what you're saying, and it's like,
do we have some self, like, I don't know. Like, I don't think anybody ever turns down work, and I think that's
I turn down work.
bad. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people don't.
Yes.
And
Not everyone can afford to, so that's a luxury.
And it is a luxury. I agree with that. But like, most people who turn down work turn it down because, or not everybody, but most, because like, oh, you can't, your budget's way too low. It's $500 and I start at $2,000.
I have a sentence
like,
I say a lot,
Yeah.
Bobby, and I'm not sure it would count in this scenario because I think the couple probably was happy. But I say all the time, like, I'm not going to be able to make you happy.
Yeah. I think that's a good question to ask yourself always.
Like, because people are always like, oh, like the customer's always right. No, they're not. Actually, most of the time, in my experience, the customer who is angry is wrong. Like, but you're not gonna say that. What that really means is always kiss customers' butts, and I would basically agree with that. Like, as long as you're not being abused or being treated terribly, like, it's never worth the conflict to deal with rationalizing to a disappointed customer that they are wrong.
Yeah.
Every so often, but in general, no. And I look at this and I go, I don't think they failed. So I would say this is not a failure. This is successful. I think they sold this to the couple. Probably that maybe the couple had the idea. Maybe they did.
I really wish they were in chat because I really want to know whose idea it was.
But regardless, they sold it, and then the couple did it. And I think the couple's going to view it as successful. So I don't think they could have said to them like, oh, I can't do a good job with this. That being said, to your original question, should we be saying no?
Do we have responsibility to like self-gauge and be like, I don't think I can do this?
I think it's less of a responsibility and more of a wisdom thing. Like, if you're knowingly taking on work that you think you're not going to knock out of the park, is that wise?
Yeah.
And the answer is, it's a risk. It's a risk factor you're adding to the business. That being said, the other side of that coin is if you never take on a risk, you never grow.
You'll never push yourself out.
That's where I would put this film in that category. Is they took on a big risk, and I think they'll grow from it.
I think that the third side of that weird coin that we've now flipped is that part of me hates saying this, but I always kind of revert back to this, like, not like the bar is low for weddings, but like people love their own weddings. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I walk out of a wedding and I'm like, God, like that was bad. I am not excited about what I got. Like, oh, the speeches were rough. Like this shot, I couldn't execute it. I feel like there's no like marquee shots from the day. Like I'm not feeling great about it. And that's after 18 years of doing this. Like, so we all still do that. But like, the couple still loves their film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, there's always that fallback.
So let's recap really quick. First of all, interesting idea. I don't know if I've said this. It's not for me. I don't like it personally. I wouldn't want to make this, but I do think there's a place for it. You're kind of taking like the typical interview style video or the reality TV style, and you're kind of enhancing it.
You also take on a lot of risk, whether it was your idea or the couple's, to be like, hey, normal everyday people, right?
You better be good actors, and you better have tons of time in multiple like, I don't think this is a marketable product. And I think that's really what if I was like giving this person a business coaching thing, I'd say, that's great that you want to do this. How much time did you have to spend shooting it? Oh, we shot for like 8 days. How much do you need to make per day?
Over 3 months.
So you're telling me, like, even if you're charging $3,000, which is not a ton in America for a wedding film, like
which
a 10-hour.
Is what they charge, FYI.
Okay, so you're charging $3,000, and you probably shot 5 days for this.
They said 3 days, but there's no way this is remotely profitable, and that's okay.
It is
in a nutshell.
If you think that
if it can lead to more business, is marketable.
What you're developing, the product you're developing, other people would be willing to commit 3 days to make. And in my experience, you're going to need to charge a lot of money for that, just to put it out there. Like when Jared and I, the minimum we do a multi-day event for is $10,000.
Yeah.
Not to say we're in a privileged position, but like for me to make this film, I would charge them 15 to 20 minimum, and really probably a lot more. And that's just me, but I look at that and I go like, this is hard to make money on. And so that's the first thing I think about when I watch a wedding film is there a demand for this type of wedding film? Could I sell it at a profit? And I look at this and I think, I don't think there is a demand for this. I don't think the average person would want to participate in this. And I don't think that what you would actually need to make a profit on a film like this, the couples who have that type of budget. This is the thing I want to point out to most of you guys. There is a aspect of wedding filmmaking that is about the couple. But I think it's much more helpful as an industry to think about wedding filmmaking as event filmmaking. You are shooting an event. You're not shooting a couple.
Yeah.
There is a market for event filmmaking, but there's not a big market for couple filmmaking. There's a small market. There are some people. So all that
there
being
are other people who would probably jump at this idea. But
all that being said,
group of people is small.
You better be so good that you're category defining.
Yeah.
And that's it isn't. And that's what I want to tell this person is like, you're not ready to try to define a new category in wedding filmmaking yet.
Yeah.
Until you can nail your focus.
With that said, I think that they could take aspects of this. I'd probably mix the whole meet cute thing, the whole setup actors thing, but there are shots throughout that day. Even that little sequence, like there was some solid stuff in there. And like make a little 30-second teaser. Like if they are new in their wedding filmmaking career, there is salvageable stuff from this wedding that they could market with and get more.
And here's the beautiful thing. Me and you could be totally wrong. You could put this into the market. You could put this into the market and you could have couples climbing out of the woodwork to get it. I think you're going to have a hard time with the price personally, but like maybe you decide, hey, this is how I like to make films. I want to make 15 a year. I don't care if I charge $5,000. Let's go. And in that case, great. I hope for your sake that I'm right or that you're right. And also
that would be awesome. Like,
that would be amazing. It gives us all a new thing we can make. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I just want to say all the criticisms I said, huge kudos to you. What does that mean? What does that sound?
I don't know.
Huge. Oh, it was a phone of my child or a video of my phone of my child on the phone that just started playing because I accidentally leaned on it. Huge kudos to you for trying something new. Never lose that instinct in your career. Always do it, even if you think you're going to get made fun of on Wedding Film School or whatever you think.
We're not making fun of people.
No, but I'm just saying, like
it's roasting.
Oh, people think if you say anything negative about anyone nowadays, you're being mean to them. We're not trying to be mean to you. We're just trying to be honest, but we're also want to encourage you to keep being yourself. That is such a big deal, and like you need to do it. And that like, don't just listen to us. Just prove me wrong. Get so good, and then try to humiliate me.
Do it. I dare you. Also, I just want to say, I think this was maybe one of the more unique conversations we've had that's been prompted from a film we've reviewed.
Yes.
Like, I'm pumped. Like, thank you for submitting that. I think that was a cool.
I 100% agree.
We got a lot of reflections on
I 100% agree.
Cool.
Well, no risk. Nobody, like, you're never going to fail, but you're never going to do anything interesting. And I think they did something interesting. So good job.
I know you're queuing up the second video. Are we cool to mention our sponsors for the video today? All right.
Let's do it.
We want to, of course, mention our lovely sponsors for this live stream. Tamron, making some awesome lenses for wedding filmmakers. And not only are they solid lenses that cover great ranges, good focal lengths and f-stops and all the good technical stuff, but also really affordable lenses. I know, I don't know what's in your kit, Jay. I think we talked a week or two ago about doing a what's in my bag video and getting that out to you guys, but I'm shooting not exclusively with Tamron lenses, but my main camera, especially as a solo shooter, is generally sticking with the Tamron 35 to 150 f2 to 2.8.
As it can be seen right on the screen.
As it is right there. I do also sometimes fly that the 28 to 75, which is kind of their 24 to 70 take.
Yeah, I love that lens
and stuff like that. But that 35 to 150, man, if you are solo,
their Sony stuff is really, 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 really solid. It's really good.
I agree. Yeah, that thing is a lifesaver. Like I'm getting all the shots I need without grabbing another. Like I used to have 2 cameras on me, or I'd have one camera hanging on me and have my gimbal in the hand, and like rough. Now my gimbal sits on the ground next to me.
All that to say, Tamron is great. Great lenses.
Yes.
Check them out.
Yeah, check them out. You can see them in the kits that we link, and you can go to their website and whatever as well. So thanks to them for sponsoring today's live stream. Ready to jump into our second
Yes.
film?
Let me.
This is coming from Jovan Films.
In chat.
Maybe.
He was. I saw him.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully they come back. Second full-time year as a wedding filmmaker. I found this is the film I want to base my entire personal wedding film brand off.
That is so cool. I love it when people
That is like,
think about that.
What a nice like feeling to get to that spot where you're just like, this defines my work. This is what I want to do. I'd love any tips on how to sell this as my main bread and butter wedding in the 5 to 7K range by the end of 2025. So a little over a year.
Sell it. All right.
That's a unique. What a unique live stream today.
Well, I would say that's
Just got like
not a on the front end a question that I find to be a bit of a misunderstanding of. People often say, "What do you think this film is worth?" And I'm like, "How many people know who you are?"
Yeah, there's a lot of variables that go into it, but I do like that this, the approach going into this is more of a business oriented instead of just watch my video.
Already like it though.
Yeah, that's a good vibe.
My
Seems like it fits the
precious
couple.
ones, you've been working hard to make this day come. This day is the one you will never forget. Stay loving, supporting, so joy. Heart in heart, hand in hand, walk together.
See that hand in hand? You see that?
I believe that there's no condemnation. I believe that I have been set free.
Sabina, absolutely incredible today and every day. I always ask myself, how did I get so lucky to find such a caring and thoughtful partner?
Maxim, how lucky we are for our souls to have found each other at such a young age. You light up any room you walk into, and that is one of the many reasons I love you. I love you so much, but boy, am I lucky to be
Why don't we skip a little bit? But this is very
great.
very solid.
Be in love with you.
How
is
long is this film?
indescribable.
It's a normal film, like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. We'll get to the ceremony. It's
many people dream.
It's very clean. Just
yeah.
Has all the moments, a little bit of style, a little bit of fun.
Companions. This wedding ceremony symbolizes commitment and the beginning of a shared journey towards lifelong partnership. Seeing you joins you as one in this moment, and it will be a day you will always remember.
I vow to always love you unconditionally, through thick and thin. I vow to always...
Okay, think about this while we're watching this. I mean this in the best possible way. In a lot of ways, it's just this basic wedding film, right? There's very standard.
Yeah, it's standard.
Super
a few little pockets of
well edited,
box, but...
very well shot. But when I look at it, I think let's think about this. He said he wants to base it on how he could sell weddings. So
yeah, what was the word?
So what I'm thinking through is, what can we tell him about this film as we're watching that would maybe make it a better showpiece for the next client. So I think that's how to watch it.
Encourage and inspire you to be the best version of yourself every single day.
Maxim, I promise I will love you for the rest of this life and the next, but that still wouldn't be enough. I vow to hold you when things feel too heavy. I vow to be your safe haven, where you can find comfort, peace, and support.
I vow to cherish and protect love and continue to fight for what we have.
And lastly, I vow to you every part of me, my body, my mind, and all of me and all of our love. I love you.
By the power of your love and commitment to each other, and by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Vested. It's vested. It's vested.
This marriage does not count because it's rare.
Good song.
Dancing. Do we have like a little outro?
Cool.
Sweet.
So, you know, it's tough when you're like, when you see a lot of wedding films and like when someone's excited about their work, I think that's awesome. And so if I say like, hey, it's basic, I don't mean it's bad. I just mean, or not even special. I just mean like big day. There's nothing about it that really,
yeah, it's a standard.
That's all I'm saying. And so when I watch it, I'm like, you know what? I think there's a big difference between a good wedding film and what makes them special in a sales environment. Because, like, you know, I don't know if they're still in chat, but like,
I haven't seen them pop in.
Cherish and Lindsay from Le Rev, who are going to be at Clarity, which you should be at as well. You know, Cherish and Lindsay from Le Rev are obviously very good filmmakers, but part of what drives the interest in their films is the subject. You know, it's the grandiosity of like the environment they're shooting, or maybe a celebrity or the planner they're working with. It's not the film alone. It's not the work alone. So I think as a shooter, this is amazing. You did a great job. I think, you know, we could talk a little bit about some of the stylistic editing that I can maybe take or leave. I wouldn't say that they're bad. It's just,
yeah, that's kind of where I think probably similar things to you. I'm kind of just like look, I don't love it. I don't hate it.
I'm not wild about some of those choices, but
fine.
Yeah, I'm not wild about it, but I also think, you know, we could talk about that, but I think at the end of the day, that's not really the point. When I think the thing about this film, when you're showing your couples, is if your goal is to get your price way up, I don't think this film is going to be a super effective because it's not a high budget wedding.
Yeah.
If your goal is to do more of this type of wedding, which it kind of sounds like that's what they said, but maybe they meant the editing style. And I'm not sure what they meant.
Conflicting scenarios here.
This is what I think about, and maybe Bobby, you tell me if that you agree. But when I think about like this is the type of wedding I want to make, I'm usually mean the type of event I want to be shooting.
Yeah.
I don't typically mean the type of edit I want to be doing.
Yeah.
And I find those to be very different. But like, unfortunately, the type of event you are shooting much more closely correlates to your price than how good your film is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the reality. And so I think, you know, one of the things we don't know is where this person is currently priced. Oh, wait, no, we do know. This was a $5,000 package.
Totally,
so
totally worth $5,000, by the way.
And I know that they are in, I looked up their website actually. So they are in Spokane, Coeur d'Alene. So that border between Washington and Idaho. So I don't know what the market is like there, which is going to play a role.
I would say you have access to like Seattle, and you know,
yeah, if you're willing to go out a little bit, and Coeur d'Alene's a nice area too. But Yeah. So I guess, you know, the thing, first and foremost, is a perfect candidate to come to Clarity. So
I would agree.
Jonathan, if you do end up watching this or you're live and just not in chat, you should strongly consider it, because I think this is Clarity is almost made for where you're at. You're topping out your market, probably your local market, and you're looking to make more and do it consistently. I don't know if you're consistently charging 5,000, I guess. So, and I think that is kind of, you know, with that business strategy at Clarity and that mentorship aspect of it, that's really who it's made for. With that said, I think that you could be hamstrung a little bit by your market, but I think Jay brings up a good point that, like, this is a nice wedding, but it's not a high-end wedding. Also, you are be very grateful for this couple, because this couple was all about being on camera and being silly and doing whatever and being themselves. And you're not always going to get that. And so I think that this was a very couple-centric film.
Yeah, and even the edgy stuff that you're trying to do, which I think is also cool. I guess I would say if you really want to be making those edgy edits and or those stylized edits, maybe not edgy, but stylized. Yeah. I kind of feel like the wedding is not a great juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Like when I look at the wedding, I think traditional, you know. I think if you really, really want to make that exact type of film with that type of editing or editing, you know, this will work probably in the short term, but I would really, really try to find some people. Like, you got to find your people, and just like anytime you pick something, you're unpicking something else.
Yeah.
Which is how it is. So, you know, I think for you, this is fine. I think you can really build it out.
Hey,
but
he's in chat now. He just showed up. Maybe. I don't know.
I think you could. This is a great film. Like, sell this film. It's worth $5,000. I think there's like a.
But I think in that question of moving up to the $7,500 mark and consistently doing those weddings, this might not be the wedding to get you there.
Yeah, and you know, I'm always questioning
but it is great.
Yeah, it's very good. Well, I always question people who really want to do edgy or trendy wedding stuff. I always caution not against it, but caution them to say sometimes that's a pretty short-lived ride. And so
I also think, and they kind of mentioned this in chat, but I was going to bring this up. I think one of the ways, if you really want to hit this, I mean, I hate putting dollar amounts to it because it kind of does depend on market to some extent, but okay, you really want to hit 7,500 consistent weddings, all your weddings at that price point. And then in a couple of years, you're going to want to be at 10,000, whatever. The way to do that is through planners. And the way to get on planners' eyes is, I think it's hard to get a planner who, and Jay, you're going to know better than I do, but like, I know one of the philosophies you always implement is you have to show the process, you have to show the space, you have to show the planner's work. And this is such a couple-centric film. And there might not have been a planner, so that's fine. But like,
yes,
I think that will have to change a little bit. I don't think you can have such a couple-centric film that's so many shots of just the two of them, and have a planner that really wants to like sing your praises always. I don't know.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, is it worth 5,000? Yes, 100%. Is this a good film? Yes. I didn't see any glaring mistakes. The audio was clean. Like, do I think this style is really totally on point? Maybe, maybe not. I think that honestly, there's a better couple out there for this style. In terms of like, if you really, really are serious about committing to that kind of style. But I also think it's not bad at all. And maybe, you know how it is like when you're selling wedding stuff, Bobby, people, they'll look at your style of editing, they'll look at all that, but really they see themselves in your couples.
Yeah.
And, you know, so whoever the couple is typically what the couple's going to gravitate towards.
Yeah.
And so
feel connected or not.
I think you're going to get more of these weddings with this film. And that's great. If you like this wedding and you want to shoot in this location and this budget, I think it's going to be very effective. So maybe a question, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, this was a $5,000 wedding, and I think it's just more that they want to do it consistently. So if 5,000 is okay with you,
I think,
around there,
I think it's,
and this type of couple, I think this can get you more of that work.
Yeah, I think big time. And I think they just keep pushing and keep like, it's always just better to have like a firm idea of what is important to you. And I feel like they do. So who's our last film today? We got
last film coming from Happy Pears, who is in chat, or at
our
least was.
good buddy.
Yes, they are under their personal name now. And I know Happy Pears. Right now, I think he said he's in Italy. I don't know. I thought he was like Australia or something.
New Zealand.
Either way, okay. Either way, not U.S. based. This was in Positano, Italy, right? Yeah. I don't know.
That's
how
what
to
it
pronounce
said.
that, right?
Yeah.
There were 1 million steps. I couldn't bring much. Just my cameras, tripods, and gimbal.
I've been there. It's scary.
Couldn't bring lights. Yeah. Cool.
So he's basically like making a bunch of excuses, Alec, down in chat. It's bad, but it's not my fault.
We'll probably just watch this whole thing. It's 3 minutes.
Yeah, we'll watch the whole thing. Let's do it.
Yeah. It's Italy. I mean, we got it.
Let me go back to that first shot. Whoa.
Was it like wobbling?
Not
Jessica.
much, maybe.
In that instant, when I opened the garage to first welcome you to Breeze, I certainly did not anticipate that I'd simultaneously open my world and heart to the love of my life.
I always like to imagine that when the groom sees for the first look that he does like the like wolf eyes. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Huh? No, that would be
that
unique.
From Looney Tunes or something?
Yeah, that would be unique. Hubba.
The woman with whom I want to share every story, experience, laugh, cry, secret, celebration, and joy.
A little bit of a wonky song
Yeah, that transition was
could have been worse though.
Let's turn to a timeless tradition, the breaking of the glass. The sounds serve as the strength of their bond and the endurance against all challenges that life brings.
I'm sorry. What is this?
What are we looking at here?
What is she looking at? Anyway. I don't know why that little sequence threw me off so. Like look at the.
She's like looking at like.
Well, it's just like a weird cut. That was a weird cut.
I appreciate it. Back to the rest of you. Hi.
Okay. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
First, want to thank Jeff and Jess for bringing us this incredible place. Would have never come here in our lives without you guys being married here. And it's truly a magical place. And I think that when you told us you were married in Positano, I guess knowing what you guys do didn't surprise us much.
He is flow and he looks for joy in each day. Jeff, this is how I know you are the one for me. We balance each other out, you ground me, and anything feels possible. From the day we met at Holly's birthday party on June 12th, 2021, I knew there was something special between us. When I arrived at 36 Breeze, Jeff was there to open the garage and greeted me with a huge smile, the same smile that now greets me at the beginning and end of each day.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a title there too.
Yes.
All
right.
Checking.
All right.
All right. Standard review on this one.
Yeah. What do we like?
What'd you love about it? Yeah. What'd you love about it?
You know, for me, I have a lot of sensitivity to how crappy it is to shoot in another country. So
a lot of understanding.
Yeah. Like it's a really
and limited gear and whatnot, as you mentioned.
It's there's a lot of super challenging aspects to that. And you know, when I look at that, you know, oh, that's a good price. The person says they shoot for $300. I would never do it for that little. Do you know how much money they make off of those details? Anyway, so I say all that to say, like, I can see the limitations, but there's some good stuff in there. I genuinely think, like, when they were in like a good portrait moment, I think some of the portrait work is nice. Like, I feel like they were like trying to get all the moments, like them seeing the space for the first time. They have like a lot of B-roll. Like when you're traveling, like the number one thing is like shoot a lot of the location.
Yeah. I would agree. I think there's really good like sense of place or space.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in there. And yeah, so I think like all in all, I think it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think there was good like location shots, kind of, I guess the city or, you know, whatever, I don't know, town, whatever it is as a whole, like just showing that this is not, and it was kind of alluded to in I think it was Father of the Bride speech too, like this is not where they're from or whatever. And so that's a part, like that's a choice that they made. Everybody chooses which venue they're going to get married at, right? But especially when you choose to take your family overseas or another country or just another town or whatever it is, another city, like that's an intentional choice. And so I think having that be a character and play a role in the film is important. I think you did well with that. I agree. I think there was some good portrait stuff. There was some, you know, nice table shots and stuff for that reception. I think I could tell, I think like one of the other big things that I would say, and like, I know you mentioned the limitations of like, oh, there's all these steps, I couldn't bring all this gear. So we already knew that you were limited in that sense, but I think like, it felt like this venue or wherever they got married was also limiting in some ways. Like it didn't look like there were a lot of like looks for you. You know what I mean? And so I think we can see that. But with that said, I think that you made the most of what you had. Like it didn't feel like there were a lot of locations or looks in this spot, but you got the variety, you got as much out of it as you could, which I think is a sign of being, I don't know if it's a mature filmmaker, but a filmmaker who understands what they're going to need and that over and over and, you know, pivoting to make sure they get that in the shooting, or else you're going to get in the edit and be like, oh, shoot, what do I do? This is bad. So I think those are the things that really stood out to me on the positive side. Yeah, I think those are the things that stood out to me. But flipping that, Jay, what are things that you think could be improved upon, or maybe
for me the biggest thing about this film is there's just some critical, I feel like there's a lot of shots left on the table that they didn't execute well. Like every time I felt like they were forced to do something under duress, they didn't nail it.
Yeah.
So like them walking down the aisle,
like, oh shoot.
And so, this is not a criticism. It's just a pointer I'm going to give everyone. When you're doing this stuff, you have to have the right equipment. And like you could say like, oh yeah, like they were gonna walk down the aisle, but I didn't have a wide enough lens, and so that the aisle was really short, so it was kind of shaky, and I didn't really nail it. And he said this, and then they kissed at the wrong time, or who knows what it is, you know? Like people have their reasons. Like that is way too tight of a focal length.
Yeah,
right there. Like you should be having like a 16 millimeter, 24 millimeter at the most in that situation with that short porch. And I felt like a lot of the problems I saw with the film were lack of preparation for what there was going to happen in the frame.
Yeah, it's like when things were very controlled and even and whatever, you had very nice framing and well thought out shots. And then, you know, unfortunately, the part of wedding filmmaking that we all experience is when things get a little chaotic. It felt like there was a loss of that control and intention to some extent.
I saw a lot of that stuff, and honestly, like, I think the lens choice throughout the film is just not good. Like this shot right here.
Alex, what were you like? Do you have a primary setup? Like, what is most of this shot on, or are you switching lenses all the time, or like, what does that look like? I think we'd be curious. I think the other thing that I would say is like, and it's kind of building on what you said, Jay, is like, it's tough where you have these built-in limitations. And then I think, I guess built-in limitations, whatever. And then I think that you get, like, I have my setup and my approach to a ceremony, for example. And if I don't get to have my setup, I would probably be a little like off my game or something like that. And so I understand that to a certain extent, but in this scenario, it's like, were you not able to have your normal setup, or did you choose not to? Because you didn't want to carry it up the steps or hire an assistant to do it for you or something like that.
Well, and so Alex, he said, there's not a lot of locations actually. Go early.
Yeah, actually.
Like I would assume like you're not trying to tell people like when you shoot a wedding like this, you're not trying to make money on it. You're trying to create a portfolio piece for your brand that will allow you to stand out. And when I look at this, I go like, hey, yeah, like you should just do whatever it takes to absolutely slay the film.
Yeah,
and like that's all. So like I don't like that is the if you've never done destination, especially even Europe is particularly like it's hard to move around. I mean, this part of Europe is really hard to move around. It's like you said, tons of steps, really challenging. I would always like really guarantee I'm going to run away with the absolute killer shot. So the other thing is, honestly, to me, it's not wide enough. The whole film he doesn't have a wide enough lens. Like this shot right here, you can't even see their full body. They might as well be in front of any kind of hill. Like if I'm going to Positano, if I'm shooting a place like this, I'm shooting on like 18 millimeter. Like I'm pulling as much of the environment into the shot as possible.
For some stuff.
I do a lot now, dude. Like,
well, you shoot a lot. You're very intentional about having the ability to crop vertical too.
And also just, I think wide stuff is very cinematic looking.
I think wide. I think a big step in a wedding filmmaker or any filmmaker's career, I guess, is executing wide shots well.
Yes, and I feel like this film is just hungry
see that
for
lacking in a lot of. Yeah, and I would say I think Alex, you have solid stuff. You have a solid understanding of a lot of stuff. I actually think I would maybe look at incorporating something wider into your work, because I think you're at the point where you could do that. Like, I think you know what you're doing.
Just being intentional. You're in Positano, and I felt like there could be a little more intentionality to it. All that being said, it's very nice, and I think it has.
Only other change I would make.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
I saw the title at the beginning, and I brushed it off. I said, I don't love it. I think it looks a little, it's like two different fonts. I don't think it looks as high end as you want it to be.
No,
You
I don't
can't
like
see
that.
it very well with the waves. I don't love
I
it.
like the
but
frame,
I was
though.
willing to be like, okay, whatever. Yeah, the frame's really cool. And then you did it again at the end. We don't need 2 titles. And because you did 2, now I'm bringing it up and I'm saying do 0. Both.
Can
those
I
was
just
thinking
say one thing about Amalfi Coast?
Yes.
I hate those beaches.
Really?
They're ugly. Like
I've never
black,
been.
dirty, gray, like filthy beaches.
Well, you know what, Jay? Right now it's snowing in Minnesota, so I will gladly take a dirty
I
beach.
wish it was snowing here, man. I do. I truly do.
This is the bad snow, though. It's different.
Oh, the kind that just looks ugly
the kind
and then
that's
just melts
cold
away
and
in like an
brown
hour.
and that doesn't stick. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Yeah. So you know, Alex, I don't want to roast you or anything. I just think like when I watch a film, I always think of like the moments, the signature moments, and like execution and like.
What are these? I'm curious what these are. Is that like a menu?
I
What
think
were they
this is
looking
just
at? There were 2 shots.
this is a
That's not a menu.
a license, like a wedding
Oh.
license or whatever. But like what I don't like is why would I? You should never show a table that's off of.
Yeah.
Like there's just like a very lack of intentionality with capturing everything that you're going to capture in a way where you most highlight what is most beautiful. Like when you look at this shot, like this is another one that bothered me. Why aren't you standing next to those people over there shooting out towards the beautiful Amalfi Coast? You're shooting the opposite direction towards like some random factory. And I think there's a lot of that throughout the film that could be improved upon. That being said, it's a good film. It's going to make
Yeah.
you money.
There's some
And,
good stuff in here, too.
you know, the couple's going to, and yeah, I mean, I think you did a good job by and large. You know, you should be proud of it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's we're getting a question. Do you guys recommend an 18 to 35 millimeter for something like this? I think the 18 to 35 is an APS-C, right? Am I thinking of the right
No,
ones?
no. I mean, there's I don't know about the 18 to 35 specifically, but a 16 to 35 on a gimbal is a very
16 to 35 is what I use.
very
in my gimbal
standard
a lot of times.
and excellent focal length.
I freaking love it.
We use on ours we use the S series Lumix lenses. They're all the same weight, so
that's super nice.
Yeah, we change primes all day.
God, that's actually so nice.
Yeah, so
I stick almost exclusively 16 and 35 is on my gimbal a lot. Certain shoots or weddings, I'll go into it bounce for that the 28 to 75. But yeah, switching, I don't switch a lot midday because they're all different weights. I got to rebalance, and weddings
yeah.
are fast paced.
Yeah, no, we'll be 18, 24, 35, 50.
Yeah,
like
that's so nice.
Yeah, throughout the day, mostly 18 for
Yeah.
like, but I would say like, I'll do a 35 with a crop for like a portrait session, you know, or maybe like table details or something like that. But mostly we just keep it wide. Yeah, he agrees. The beaches are horrible. They're nasty. They're like covered in cigarettes. And I don't know. Whatever. No, sorry, Italy. It's one of those places that looks really good from a distance. Just don't look too close to the Amalfi Coast. I mean, no shade, by the way. It's on the side of a hill. It's like
I know beaches, so whatever.
Like a giant hill with beaches. That's kind of cool, but at the end of the day, too. But yeah, no. I mean, I think like having wide shots is really important in wedding filmmaking, and having a gimbal that's too tight is a constant problem I see in wedding filmmaking. So
yeah,
you're better off having too wide of a shot than too tight of a shot on your gimbal. That's just my opinion.
You can always crop in.
Yep. So
plus, then you have vertical options.
All right, Bobby. So one last little push. We're gonna